David, I'll pass it over to you. You can introduce our guest presenter today, who's joined us in the past as well. So yeah, if it's all right, I'll pass things over to you guys.
Yeah, I'll let Spencer introduce himself. But Spencer, thanks for joining us. For those of you who don't know, Spencer is the founder and senior strategist over at Brilliant Setups. They're a third-party professional listed in the Brilliant Directories marketplace. They're one of the marketplace partners over there. So some of you may have worked with Spencer in the past. Spencer also joined us actually a few webinars ago, presenting a different tip of the week on some strategies to help grow your membership websites, overall signups, sales, leads, things like that. He covered two strategies in that presentation, how to introduce upsells into the website's pricing strategy, and also bringing clarity to the value that's being offered by your membership website to prospective members. So we'll go ahead and share a link to that video in the chat here. So after this webinar, if you want to check that out, you can do so. But yeah, Spencer, thanks for joining us. I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, David. And Jason, thank you all so much for having me again. It's nice to see everybody. And wow, great updates coming from Brilliant Directories. So yeah, it's nice to meet everybody. My name is Spencer Mercy, founder and senior strategist here at Brilliant Setups. We're proud to say, we work specifically on the Brilliant Directory platform. We focus a lot on sales and lead generation for brands that use Brilliant Directories. And today we have a really cool use case for Brilliant Directories that isn't a traditional way, I would say, of using Brilliant Directories, but a way that you can use to start your sales funnel at the top fold and a unique way to use the platform. The brand that we're going to focus on today, it's called the International TEFL Academy Costa Rica. And what the International TEFL Academy Costa Rica, what they do is they actually sell TEFL accreditation courses for native English speakers who want to teach and travel around the world. So people who are maybe you just graduated or you're looking to retire and you want to, travel and have a way of a source of income, teaching English is a really great way to do that. So when we jump over here to their homepage, for those who were in the last webinar I was in, we talked a lot about, how the homepage is presented, not just kind of throwing people straight into a search, but educating them and giving them resources, things that they can engage with and educate themselves more on what your brand is. So ITA Costa Rica is no stranger to that as well. So you can see here on the homepage, we have a quick call to actions that go to a couple of lead magnets that they offer for people interested in taking the course here in Costa Rica. And then on the homepage still, it's just more information about the specific location and courses that you can take here. A lot of trust building is done here. You can see, how many graduates they've had that have gone through the course, the level 5 accreditation, which is a big deal in this industry. All the ratings that people have gone through, being labeled as #1 in the industry for quite some time. So it's a lot of accreditation and building that credibility that people see when they first come to the website. So when it comes to the sales cycle, the top funnel, we use it here at on Brilliant Directories. And how BD works as our top funnel, we use it for a lot of lead magnets, content creation, landing pages, capturing emails, company missions, initiating workflows. These are use cases that you can use Brilliant Directories for, especially if you have products or something that you're selling outside of a membership plan. And a couple of things that we don't use Brilliant Directories for in this specific case is membership signups, a searchable directory, member reviews, payment processing. We actually don't use a lot of that here for this specific brand. So that's why I was saying earlier, it's a really unique use case of the Brilliant Directory platform that we use strictly for marketing and lead gen and sales. So for those who maybe you don't know what a sales funnel is, we kind of created just a simple breakdown of what one typically looks like. You have your awareness and interest phases. Those are when people are either downloading a lead magnet you have, maybe you have a free trial and you're capturing email information and user data to then nurture them to your paid content. Then you have intent, which is part of that nurturing process, because when they first engage with the brand and a new product, they want to educate themselves. They're not ready to buy quite yet, but they want to educate themselves on what the product can do for them. Then you have the evaluation and action stages, which is where you really start to kind of push more into what your sales offering is, reinsuring the confidence, using things like these trust factors, building that confidence in the product that you have. And then, of course, the exciting part, which is the action stage, which is when they actually move forward with the product, which you can then look into upselling. So what we did with the International TEFL Academy Costa Rica, they had a unique problem, and then the challenge was to identify how to generate more and better qualified leads that fit into the persona that they're targeting. So what I mean by that is when we first were working with them, they did have this lead magnet, the country chart, which once you click this button, it takes you over here to this landing page, which is a form that they can fill out. And this lead magnet is allowing potential teachers to compare different countries of where they could potentially teach, livelihood, how much they could make, basically all the different things that go into moving abroad that you would want to know, like quick hits that interest a lot of people. But the problem was it wasn't focusing just on Costa Rica. It wasn't focusing on the person that wants to travel to Costa Rica and why people travel to Costa Rica in the first place, besides it being a beautiful country and everything. But specifically here to ITA, we created another lead magnet. We didn't remove the previous lead magnet they had because we wanted to keep that. But we also created another one that was more specific to Costa Rica and more specific to the courses and products that ITA sells. So when you first come to this landing page, we have the form again here on the right-hand side, but then we have a description of kind of what people would expect when they download this starter kit, which is the lead magnet that we're offering, and what they can expect out of kind of going on this journey of teaching. And then as you scroll down the page, we actually have brands that have featured content from International TEFL Academy Costa Rica on their websites. And this is a great way to promote and build trust again when you have other brands listed on your site. I'm sure people here have gone to sites before and you'll see that they have like listed brands that use their products. And the reason people do that is because they want to build trust to say, hey, these are the people that trust us. And especially if you have like a name brand that's using your product, that is a huge bonus. So this is a great way. Oh, go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, I had a question. But so if you want to can we take a quick step back here and go back to the homepage for a second?
Okay.
Because you mentioned something interesting that you're not using Brilliant Directories like for membership plans, payment processing. So far what you've showed is like a mixture of like landing pages, calls to action, and form. So like you're using Brilliant Directories, and you mentioned something about the top funnel. Can you go back to your slides where you were talking about the top funnel? Okay, and on the left-hand side there, you have other solutions there: Zapier, ActiveCampaign, and HubSpot. So I'm seeing like the forms on your site, the calls to action, all the information. Can you just explain to us like what the purpose of having that as your main website is, and then what happens when people interact with the site?
Yeah, of course. So the reason we have Brilliant Directories here at the top is because the versatility that it has with the platform in terms of using those types of functionalities like call to actions, creating landing pages, creating content that's engaging. And then moving down the process, we have Zapier, ActiveCampaign, and HubSpot. And Zapier, ActiveCampaign, and HubSpot are also other great third-party platforms you can use for your sales as well. So what we do with these platforms with Zapier is once people do download, let's say when you do download this lead magnet, well, it's not that you just get the content, but you'll probably get an email right away. Where does that email come from? Well, when people download this, Zapier actually can take that information and send it to another platform like ActiveCampaign that does email automations. And that way you can have emails go out that continue to nurture the brand to people who've downloaded your lead magnet without you having to manually manage it all. And HubSpot we use this a lot for sales. So if you have a sales pipeline, if you are managing open and click rates to emails, HubSpot's a great way to utilize those things. So that's why we have these also listed out here with Brilliant Directories.
Gotcha. And then I noticed on the right there, that's the thing. You have initiate workflows as one of like the top funnel functions. So like everything that you have on your BD website is like awareness. Like now let's go to the next slide actually, is okay. Like awareness and interest. Because that's what I saw. You have like ebook downloads, like infographics. What other things do you have on the site that are piquing people's interest and educating them and making them aware of like what's possible? If you want to show us on the site, you don't have to go into the specifics of each one, but the different types of content you have, because this seems like a content hub for your top funnel.
Yes, it is. And a lot other things that people that this site lists out is like courses they've had in the past, upcoming TEFL courses that they're offering. And this is using a lot of the post types that Brilliant Directories offers. So these are listed out kind of like events that is a default feature on Brilliant Directories. But we also you use this to kind of showcase other blogs, articles, and content that is also listed. So it is a very heavy content.
I didn't scroll down this much. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's lots of great ways to use Brilliant Directories, kind of outside of the traditional way of membership plans. So that's how the International TEFL Academy utilizes a lot of what Brilliant Directories can offer.
Perfect. Thank you for that explanation.
No problem. Well, jumping back over here to the landing page for the starter kit. Again, we have what I was saying before, the brands that you get listed on other sites. You can list those brands here. So again, it builds that credibility. And then as you scroll down the page, we talk about what's included in the kit. So people can go ahead and get an idea of what they're going to get when they download. And it kind of shows them what that next step is, because sometimes people don't move forward with things because either the lead magnet isn't explained great or they just don't know what that next step is. So they're really kind of hesitant to make that first engagement. Then down here we have, again, trust building, credibility, the number of students that have gone through the network, the ratings, again, being listed as #1 from Go Abroad, which is also a part of this industry. Now, a couple of things I wanted to talk about too, Jason and David, was this form here. So a lot of times people have forms that are pretty quick. So for example, if you have a newsletter that you want people to sign up to, you're probably not going to have all these different questions that you want people to fill out, because the more questions that you have listed out, the less likely people are going to fill out the whole form. So the reason, though, that this form has this many questions is for the sales team, because in this industry, to become a TEFL teacher, to be certified, you have to have graduated college. So this organization is advertised, all around the globe, and they get people downloading their lead magnets all the time. So to better qualify those leads for the sales team, that's why they have these additional questions here. So here I can see like I got a bachelor's or I got a master's. So if the sales team gets a lead and they see that someone's in college or no college, well, they know that they can't sell the product to them because they already don't qualify. So they go to a different pipeline just to keep nurturing their brand. They're not quite ready yet to move forward. Up here we have citizenship. And citizenship's important because these top 8 countries are typically the countries where people actually move forward with doing this. So they go ahead and put these right at the top. So it's easier for people when filling this format. They don't have to go and find them down in the list of countries. So again, when a salesperson gets this lead, they see that someone has filled out from one of these countries. They've graduated college, the chances of them moving forward are much higher. So of course, they're going to start targeting them more in their sales process. Then at the last question, we have the type of program that someone would be interested in, either it's online or moving to Costa Rica and taking the course here.
Got it. So you have different lead magnets or forms or things people can like, this is get a brochure, and this goes to a salesperson because the form is a little bit more, it gets a little bit more specific. What's a lead magnet you have that's a little lighter and just kind of like, do you have like a newsletter sign up or something like that?
On this site, they don't have a newsletter sign up because they've kind of branded it to focus more on getting people to go through these funnels. But if you did have a newsletter sign up, most of the time, first name and email for sure is always recommended. And then phone number could be an optional thing.
Gotcha. Okay, that's good to know. So you can, and then like we talked about, initiating the workflows based on the form that's being filled out. You've controlled it so it goes to the appropriate channel or the
correct
person.
Correct. So in Zapier, you're actually able to create zaps based on forms that people are filling out to capture information, and you can then have that specific zap go to a specific workflow. So they don't always go to the same workflow. So depending on what I put in these fields, depends on what workflow I go to. So that's how the sales team, they have their own workflow that they work on. So they know anybody who gets into their workflow has answered these questions in a way that is pretty high. They're going to move forward.
Perfect. Thanks for that insight there.
Yeah, no problem. So the next thing I was going to talk about too was, how do you define what lead magnet to use, and how do you define, what kind of content you want to write? So a good way to kind of think of that is surveys. If you're thinking about doing a type of lead magnet like this, and want to have a high quality lead magnet, asking your potential buyer questions and having them take surveys so you can get that feedback. So you're not just kind of guessing what kind of content should I write, but you're getting actual feedback from people that you want to work with to create content for. So the lead magnet that we created here, kind of like what I was saying before, this country comparison chart didn't focus straight on Costa Rica, but so we focused ours more on people wanting to live here and why they should live here. So how did we do that? Well, we actually went out and started talking to teachers who took the course and started asking them those critical questions like, hey, before you went forward with this product, what are the questions that go through your head that made you want to take this leap? And what did ITA do to help build that confidence in you to move forward with that? So the best way to get that information is to start talking to your potential customer. And this lead magnet, it's several pages long, and it's all about Costa Rica, teaching in the country. And about halfway down this lead magnet, we actually list out those critical questions, like how can I legally work in the country? How am I going to make a living here? How much can I make? And these are the questions that are going through teachers' minds before they move forward with moving to the country and teaching English. So it's a high quality lead magnet because it gives them all that information that they want to know. And how do they know they're going to get that information is because we listed it out here.
That's perfect. That looks like a pretty extensive ebook or information guide. It also looks visually appealing. For those of you who don't know how to make like an ebook or a PDF like this, there's tons of like tools now, especially with AI. Canva can help you make it. There's some other ones that just AI tools now, you just tell it like the topics and it'll kind of give you a starting point that you can edit out further and add your images. But what you were saying about how to choose the lead magnet to compel people to fill out the form, you mentioned something about surveys, and I want to just talk about that. Most ninja marketers, and if you have a website, you're an online marketer, plain and simple, whether we admit it to ourselves or not. And what we want to do is we want people to give us their information, their emails. We want them to exchange. We want to give them things so they give us their data, or they sign up for paid plans and things like that. So what he's talking about in service is almost like a build in public situation where you ask people what their pain points are in a certain industry, where they have the most trouble, what they would like to see different, what they want changed in their lifestyle and their lives. and then you build an ebook or product that explains to them how their lives will be different or what they can expect by taking XYZ action. So using their own words that they reply back to you in these surveys, in the ebooks and lead magnets that you create, it's almost a guarantee that people are going to want to, fill out these forms in exchange for the information that's on the other side.
Right. So that's essentially kind of what we're working with here with ITA Costa Rica. And again, kind of like what Jason's saying, there's tons of tools out there that allow you to create this, especially now with ChatGPT to write content for people, makes life a little more easy. So this, I guess, say top-fold and inbound marketing works really well for the ITA Costa Rica, but I also wanted to list out because I know that's just one niche and everybody has their own niche in different industry that they're going into. So I wanted to also list out, other industries that this can really work for, especially if you also have products that you sell, if you have courses that you sell and services as well. Brilliant Directories is a great way to use at that top fold of the sales funnel to have lead magnets, call to actions, and a bunch of great looking landing pages. So these are also, again, just more industries for people to see. Well, thank you, Jason and David. Is there anything y'all wanted to add before I do my outro, I guess?
No, it was good. I really like this use case. Effectively, what we're doing, we're not using Brilliant Directories for a membership site. We're using it for, creating custom forms, landing pages, and creating, compelling content that keeps people interested. You also mentioned you're using it for blogging. So this really is, BD is like your content hub here. And then all your automations happen after the fact when people fill out the forms. And you're using like ActiveCampaign for additional nurture emails, and HubSpot to like track the progress of a lead that's come into your system or a prospect until they turn into a closed sale. So really interesting to see this type of use case. Totally not using it for what most people expect, like a membership or business directory website. So it's really refreshing to see how you're using this here.
Yeah, of course. Well, thank you all. And again, everybody, my name is Spencer Mercy. Feel free to reach out to me. I have my email here, spencer@brilliantsetups.com. If you are curious to see like, well, how do I create an email automation? How do I set up that workflow? We actually have tons of videos as well that cover exactly that and how to write that content that goes into emails. Feel free to check out the sales course as well. brilliantsetups.com/go. So yeah, guys, thank you all so much for having me.